All right, folks, welcome back. Jimmy O Show, Players of the Week for Week 3. If you didn't notice, we didn't have a Week 2 because the unfortunate result. We only do the Player of the Week shows after wins, which we expect to have lots of these shows this year. So Week 2 will be the exception, not the rule. Um, I'm joined here today with all three of the Offensive Players of the Week against Southern Miss. I got Kai Horton. How you doing, Kai?
Good. How are you?
Very good. Josh Remetich. Josh, how are we doing, bud?
Good. How are you?
Good. And of course, everybody knows the face of Jha'Quan Jackson by now. How you doing, Jha'Quan?
Man, how you doing? I'm doing good, man. Can't complain. Just had a great practice, man, with the guys, man. Stacking our days.
Very good. Very good. Well, folks, before we get started, we're going to remind you or ask you to check out our charity partner of this week. This week, we're going to go with Blessed 26 organization. My teammate Kendall Francis's group helping mentor young men through the high school years and ushering them into a college career. We ask that you also check out our website, ftwcollective.com. It's right there in the corner of the screen to find out more what you can do to help these guys out, help out our collective, and be on the lookout for a redesign. That's in the works, and in the coming months we'll have a new fancier website for everybody to check out. So with that, let's get started, man. First of all, well, I guess we're digital here. I appreciate everybody joining. It looks like no issues logging in. Had to do it a little differently this week with our producer Bradley. Picking fights with much bigger people and hurting his ankle, tearing some ligaments. Wasn't a fight. He was playing sports, but so guys, all right, Southern Miss, man, the Rock. I've got some bad memories of the Rock. 0-2 there. Neither game was particularly close, and I was just like, y'all were just sitting around there 7-0 at halftime, and I'm like, man, it's happening again. It's happening again. Kind of got going a little bit in the second half, and just really always were in control of the game, I thought, but just little breakdowns here and there prevented more points in the first half. But I thought everything looked a lot crisper, a lot smoother in the second half, and came away with a convincing 21-3 win. So I guess my question to you, Kai, will start with you. What was sort of the difference between the first half and second half? What allowed us to be a little bit more successful in the second half?
Just our game plan coming out. We knew what they were going to be in and what they were going to do when they were coming out. We just knew we had to come out with more juice in the second half and just get all the guys going and make some plays. And Quan did a really good job on that screen that we threw out to him, and that just got all the guys going, and we just built off of that. And like you said, just finished off the game, dominating the ball, and finished out strong.
Yeah. And I'd be remiss not to mention too, like the first drive of the game, that was a thing of beauty. I mean, just really surgical, getting down the field, and then just different things happen, and that's football. But Jha'Quan, man, do you get tired of scoring touchdowns?
Nah, I wouldn't say I get tired, but everybody loves to score touchdowns. That's the one goal for everybody who plays football. Sometimes the O-lineman get the chance to score touchdowns if you're in the offense that throws to O-lineman sometimes. But scoring touchdowns is great.
Is there any truth to the rumor that Remy's been lobbying Coach Nagle to work the fumble Ruski into the script?
Oh, I don't know about that, but hey, if they call it, we gonna execute it, But it's gonna take some time to keep going over it, and then to make it happen on Saturdays.
Man, that play right there. Look, my high school senior year, last game of the year, playing our rival Riverside. Y'all know Riverside. Y'all locals know it. We're down it's 3rd and 13. The coach, fourth quarter, decides that was the time he was going to break out the fumble Ruski to try to pick up the first down. He went for a 3-yard loss. I'm like, dude, what are we doing, man? Run the X off of my butt. That's all we got to do. It's a real simple thing we got to do in this game. So
right.
Anyway, but look, we'll figure out a way to get Remy in the end zone. And speaking of him, man, the really kind of dynamic. We got all three. We got the passer, the recipient, and one of the key blocks on the big score and screenplay. Josh, man, I was so proud to see you running down the field, moving for a big man, getting your body out there, throwing it around, and giving Quan sort of the space he needed to finish the play.
Yeah, I knew if I just got out there and kind of got in the way and maybe barely touched the guy, I knew Quan could make something happen. I've seen him run the ball plenty of times. So,
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, look, it was Quan, I heard more than one person saying, of course, you've been making plays for us for years, so I wouldn't take it in the wrong way, but everybody's got Tajay on their mind, your former roommate, and people were saying, man, I was like, watching you on that sort of breaking the arm tackle, staying balanced, tiptoeing the sideline and getting in. It's like, man, Quan looks like Tajay out there. Like, well, I'll make sure I tell him y'all said that.
Yeah. Sometimes I don't think it, man. He taught me some things,
Yeah, that's no doubt. Y'all were quite the dynamic duo. I'm sure y'all had some good conversations over the years too. Well, Quan, man, look, right now I saw a stat the other day. You are apparently first overall in the history of Tulane football for yards per reception. You're a few tenths of a yard ahead of Lutcher legend, homeboy from me, from St. James Parish, Mark Zeno. So, man, next time you catch those screens, just got to have somewhere in the back of that subconscious that you got to keep that number up. So you can't be getting tackled for 3-4 yard gains on screens. We need to make sure you stay at that 17 yards plus. Can we do that?
Yeah, for sure, man. I just want to say, man, Kai, Coach Nagel made a great call, and just all week we worked on it. And before that play came, and our receiver coach, Coach Sherman, was like, "We're gonna call it. We're gonna call it." And guess what? You're gonna score. And I was just sitting there, and then I just looked at the sideline and saw the call, and Kai delivered a great ball, and Ballman made a great block for the first one. Then I just ran a Nike check like a punt return. Then I saw Remy out of the corner of my eye. So I said, let me step back and let him go. And then the only thing you see is then I see you, the receiver, blocking his butt off, which we stress a lot. And I see Ballman just first time you see him Ballman like run fast. I say, wow. And then he just making a great block. And man, that's one of the things Coach Nagel always talked about, just to make explosive plays, it takes more than one person to make it, and that's one thing we really live in our offensive philosophy, just making a second effort. Because without them second efforts, them big plays is not going to be successful. Just look at Tajay runs last year. You can go back and last one of them. Some of them, yeah, he did it on his own, but most of them was the receiver block well, extra effort, the O lineman did an extra effort. It's a team sport.
There's no doubt. And look, I mean, that was something that was a point of emphasis that way back when I played, that was the point they made to the receivers was, look, running back talent, good job by the offensive line. That'll get you first downs. You want touchdowns, the receivers got to be doing it downfield. And, we had some guys that got after it. You mentioned Ewell, and I thought he got a whole bunch of snaps in that game. And my suspicion is you don't get the number of snaps he got unless he's doing his job when the ball's not coming to him. In other words, he's out there. He knows what he's kind of more comfortable with what he's doing. But he's doing a really good job blocking on the edge.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think like just going to a different offense. It's kind of it don't come to you as quick as the offense you was in before. You got to get confident and trust yourself and just learn slowly. But him and Dante doing a great job of learning the offense fast now and getting to confidence and trusting everything so they can go out there and make plays when we need the plays to be made.
Yeah, I thought the rotation was pretty brisk. I mean, lots of guys getting work out there. And so, Josh, you and Jha'Quan, y'all can. I want you to talk to me a little bit about the guy on the top right here in our digital world. I mean, Kai's had opportunities in the past. Got his first start as a true freshman against a playoff participant, and then last year got thrown into the fire against Houston. Kind of, after the first series of game, led the big comeback win there. But what have you seen in terms of growth from Kai since the time, just really over the last two games as he's had to step into the chair and lead the offense?
Yeah, I've seen him over the past couple of years. Obviously, I got here a year before him. The one big thing that I took away from him coming here and working on his craft is he's matured a lot. He's at practice, he's more focused, he's more dialed in. He's more attentive. He's more going, like, say the play's not live, but he's still going through all of his reads. So definitely he developed a lot as a player. And I hear Coach Nagel all the time, his attention to detail, and Coach Nagel always gets on him if he's slacking. So really, Coach Nagel helped him out a lot, definitely developing him as a player.
Mhm. Yeah, and Kai, first of all, coming over from Texas, I mean, if we need to import some Texas barbecue to kind of give you the superpowers, we're willing to do it,
Yeah, no doubt.
But I'm sure Rudy's are one of those places, they'll ship. But otherwise, Remy might have to take you down to what's the place in Bywater? That's a little bit further than you and Gentilly, Remy. But God, I'm forgetting the shit. Anyway, I'm losing my train of thought on the barbecue places here. But Kai, what as far as you, what have you been looking at? What's sort of been your focus as you've had to be the lead man? National rank game last week. Tough, or 2 weeks ago, and then last week against a rival. I mean, these are big time opportunities for you. What have you tried to focus on and try to improve and develop as the leader of the offense?
I would say like the biggest emphasis is just like Josh was saying, is just being more mature and just growing into a better player and just getting rid of my old ways and just like Josh was saying, just making sure that I'm doing everything right and just coming out to practice, trying to get better. And it's funny that you say that because like just today, Quan was just coming up to me and just reminding me just like, hey man, like you got everything you need. You just gotta make sure that you are locked in and you come out here every day wanting to be better and better than you were yesterday. So like I just appreciate both those guys. They trust me and I trust them, and that's huge. When you lose your starting quarterback and then you have a backup come in and just the guys around you all trust you, and that just builds a lot of confidence into you and just allows me to go out there and just do what I do and get the ball to our playmakers. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough role because everybody's following your lead, right? Like, I mean, people, if you make a good play, everybody's happy. But if you make a bad play, you got to kind of like guard against like showing it, right? Because everybody's looking to you as the leader of the offense, as the starting quarterback to sort of set the tone in terms of emotionally and sort of just like the way you carry yourself. And so that's a little different from what you've had to do for most of your career.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, folks, we got plenty more guests to come. Quan and I could just have a one-on-one for 3 hours, and we barely gave Remy a chance to talk. So I hate to leave these guys and let them go, but they got to get about their day. They just got off the practice field. They got to go get something to eat. So I'm going to let them drop, and then we'll be right back with you with a couple of the defensive players of the week. Until we see you again, guys. Thank you for all you did this week, and I look forward to seeing you again as a player of the week later in the season.
Awesome.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. There he goes.
All right, man. Thank you.
You got it, Quan. Thank you,
Yes.
brother. All right, folks. We are here with the second segment of this week's Player of the Week episode. Still remote here with Keith Cooper and Bailey Despanie. How we doing, gentlemen?
Good.
These guys are
doing good. How about yourself?
Doing good, man. Doing real well after standing on the sideline watching y'all go to work on Saturday. Still excited. Two of the 4 players of the week, Pat Jenkins and Jarius Monroe, can't join because of class conflicts. Because Tulane guys do that; they go to class and whatnot. But they'll be on the Fear the Wavecast later in the week with Kelly. But I'm thrilled to have you two, Keith. You were one of our preseason guests. We talked about having a big year, and we're kind of starting to see it coming over the course of the season. Big sack, of course, there on Saturday. But guys, just sort of take me into the environment. What was it like? Rivalry game, hot down there. And even though Kai did a good job, we got a backup quarterback. Defense had to lead the charge, right?
I really feel like our defense did a great job. We just focused on dominating on defense and letting our offense do what they had to do. I feel like in charge on defense, we did a great job holding them to 3. That's a scoring defense right there.
Mm-hmm. And then Bailey, unlike Keith, who gets to come off the field a lot, not as much rotation out there for the safeties. What were some of the challenges Southern Miss presented, and what are some of the things you felt you did well out there on Saturday?
I felt like they showed us some things that we really didn't see as like DBs wise. But the biggest thing that we had to improve on was like being able to adjust to the things that they showed us on field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no doubt, man. And look, Bailey, Ole Miss, and that was a tough game. I think one of your better games. You knew you were more capable, and it showed on Saturday, man. You were all over the field, covering, sideline to sideline, just sort of, every time you looked up, you saw 32 making a play. Just did you sort of challenge yourself over the week, like, hey, look, I'm gonna come out hard and get this done, and how'd you feel you do with that?
I feel like I had a chip on my shoulder, being that Ole Miss, I left a couple plays out on the field, and coming into last week, I felt like I had something like to push for. I had to make up for those plays from the week before, and I felt like I did.
Yeah. No, you definitely did, and man, the one thing though, man, your nickname's Slim. You're not too slim anymore. What's up? What's going on with that, man? You keep thickening up. I mean, you look like a NFL safety these days.
It's crazy because Coach Fritz, one practice during fall camp, he just started calling me Buff out of nowhere. So, yeah, he kind of loud kept me on the microphone one practice. So that's kind of came into like a new nickname for me. So yeah.
Yeah. Coach Fritz, I imagine Coach Fritz sniping people all the time on that microphone in practice. Huh? All right, number 5, man. Look, we had a preseason show. He said, "Who's going to have a huge year?" I said, "Look, I just talked to the man. It's going to be Keith Cooper. One of many, but looking for big things out of Keith. Man, we really saw it out there with I know at least the one side, but I feel like you were sort of living in the backfield all day Saturday."
Yeah, just watching film, preparing, kind of getting a pre-snap read throughout the game, throughout the play, getting a feel for what they do, like their stances, just throughout the game, figuring out how to defeat a block, setting up your rushes, really just throughout the game, just learning how they play.
Mm. Are you aware, and really it's both of y'all, because Slim, I mean, you even though Buff, excuse me, you come down and make tackles add near the line of scrimmage, but so far this season, we played 2 first-team preseason Sun Belt Conference first-team running backs, and we played first-team SEC running back who ran for 1,500 yards last year. Y'all realize that the most y'all given up to any of them, I think, is 48 yards on 18 carries to Judkins.
Yeah.
I mean, the run defense has just been something just outstanding. And it's not like we overcommit, to shut it down and leave corners on islands. I mean, we're often in a 2 shell. At least a single safety back. How do we do it? What's the secret to our success for doing such a good job shutting down the run game?
During practice, we have a period where we just fly around, get to the ball, everybody touch the ball, and just pursuing up front in the box. We emphasize getting off blocks, making plays in the backfield, so we can get them to that 3rd and long, so we can get after the quarterback, get that pass rush.
Yeah, I feel like it's a big thing when we do it in practice, being able to trust those other 10 guys that if you do miss the tackle, like the other 10 guys are coming and they're gonna be able to make the tackle.
Yeah, I mean, to me, and it's carried over Coach Hamp's defense last year, and then you look at what we've done with Coach Wood this year. I just see sound. I just see guys that are sound. Like you rarely see a guy with gap responsibility out of position. Our A-gap guys are where they need to be, B, C, edge guys, and we just really sound. And so, if you're where you're supposed to be and you're physically big enough to sort of hold it down, then the offense typically big offensive plays tend to be because a defensive defender made a mistake, right? And we just don't make too many mistakes. So that, yeah, I mean, it's a joy to really watch that. I mean, I knew going into that game, look, what they want to do, what they're good at is run and gore. And just like, good luck with that. They're going to have the young guy beat us with his arm, and, wasn't able to really do that. So look, Keith, I guess the other thing I want to talk about is in your position. I mean, we lose Devin, he's on the other side, but, we lose Devin to the really chicken, targeting call. I mean, basically he's getting held. And so as a result of the holding, I guess he leads with the crown of the helmet as he's hitting the quarterback. But, he goes down and it's like, well, yeah, okay, but we only got, 3 more studs waiting for those reps, right? I mean, It's got to be nice. Like, you know that you can give 100% on every play because, like, whenever you need a blow, there's somebody else coming behind, whether it's, in your case, Angelo, I guess. And, but on the other side of the ball, Darius was still there. Michael Lunds just stepped up. He made some plays. I've been waiting to see that guy because he's made plays on special teams now for a long time. He's been waiting for a chance to make some plays with defense. I really thought he flashed a few times there on Saturday. And, of course, the guys in the interior, man. I mean, yeah. Pat's been a hammer all year, but, Adonis and Eric, and, Cam Hamilton, man. Every time you look up, Cam's got his hands on the quarterback.
Yeah.
Is there any kind of internal competition in that room in terms of who's going to touch the quarterback the most in any given game? What's that like?
First, I'd like to say, yeah, we just got a lot of depth. Everybody came back from last year, so if one person goes down, we have the next man up mentality. We all know that we can go 100% because we have somebody behind us that can play just as good or not better than the last person. Mm-hmm. But as far as competition-wise, Coach Chapman, we have a sack board in our room, and the job is to get everybody to get on that sack board. So it's kind of like a competition a little bit. Everybody trying to get on the sack board every week. So that's kind of how we do that.
I love it. Yeah. No, man. I mean, look, it's just a testament of depth. I mean, Noah Talley, is not seeing as much snaps yet that he saw last year, but he's waiting to wing. I mean, you're talking about a guy who helped create the biggest defensive play in school history, with the way he took the double team and freed up Pat last year. Mm-hmm. And then you look at all these young bucks, man. Look, some of the best recruits, guys, and they played well in the fall. They can't even get on the field, they're just waiting for their opportunity. So it's really special. It's a special group, and I know it makes your job a lot easier back there, Bailey, to know that those guys are holding it down on the front.
Yeah, 100% easier.
All right, well, guys, that'll do it for this week's Defensive Player of the Week episode. Of course, like I said, Pat Jenkins and Jarius Monroe will be on later in the week with Kelly. But guys, I appreciate y'all joining me, and like I told the officer guys, I look forward to seeing both of you here later in the season as you earn this honor again. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, you got it, man. Thanks for joining us. Until then, roll wave, brother.
Roll wave.
All right, and finally, we are here with the third and last segment of our Week 3 Player of the Week episodes. We got our frequent contributor, Casey Glover. How you doing, Casey?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
Good, man. And Darius Swanson, a newcomer to the Player of the Week episode show. Darius, welcome to the Jimmy O Show.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, when I saw your name, I was like, well, I saw him all over the field on defense as well. So I had to double check. We have a special team Player of the Week for you this week. So congratulations on the honor.
Thank you.
So I guess I'll start with you. We've asked Casey a lot of questions over the many times he's been on, but how's the transition, man? You feel like you've been at Tulane for years now, or is it still sort of new?
Yeah, getting up here in the spring, it's definitely a new experience. Just going from being at a Division II level, moving up to play at FBS level. So it was definitely an adjustment. But once we got into real football and spring practices, I felt like it meshed really well, and the coaches and players always looked out for me. And it's just been a blast. And then it feels like I've been here for years, and it's been a couple months now.
Yeah. Well, New Orleans has that way on you. I imagine, coming from Nebraska, you found some food a little bit spicier than you're accustomed to, but I'm sure you're adapting to the cuisine just fine.
Oh yeah, I'm loving it. The food out here has been so good. Like, you can't beat it anywhere else.
Yeah. I one time my son played. Y'all remember Coach Mack? He's from Nebraska originally, and his kids and my kids, we all went eat dinner sometime after a baseball game this summer, and they were talking about how spicy something was. I was like, man, this is like 2 out of 10 for a Cajun boy like me, but a little too spicy for them. So we got Casey on the move. Casey, the beauty and why you keep ending up in the show is that nobody needs to move when you kick off. It's touchback after touchback. But you're moving on us here. Casey, I guess that's the reason for the honor this week. You didn't actually punt this week, right? Still trying to get 100% health there.
Yeah, sorry, I got kicked out of a classroom just now, so I was trying to find an empty spot. But yeah, I mean, just doing what I do, just being prepared for whatever they put me out there for. And when I don't kick touchbacks, having guys like Darius and the rest of the guys that run down there for me just make the job easier, not to put too much pressure on myself to hit a touchback every time. But obviously that's the goal. But if I don't, I trust those guys to run down and make the tackle inside the 25.
I know. Sometimes I get bored watching it, and I'm like, I'm standing on the sideline right there, and you kick it off. It's like, maybe you can just hit a little bit of a sky kick, get it down to the 2 where we get to actually see the coverage unit do some work. I mean, they're so sound, right? They're so good at what they do. It's fun to watch them work. But look, I'll never complain about you starting them exactly where they need to be every time. So guys, just as we sort of look back on the special team performance this week, look, last year Southern Miss beats us because we had uncharacteristic mistakes in the special teams game. Was that a point of emphasis this week to sort of get that clean up and win the special teams game? I'm sure it is every week with Coach Fritz, but really just focusing and taking pride in winning the special teams game this week.
Yeah, I think especially with what we do is so technical. We do put a really big emphasis on special teams. We practice it a lot. We do a lot of periods throughout the week on it, but just making sure that we're sound and we're almost perfect in everything we're doing, whether it's running down in the right coverage lanes or getting the snap and the cadence correct so that they can't jump it. Just little things like that made the difference this year. Just being more sound.
Right. And Darius, for your sake, you're excuse me for not taking stock of every single unit, but are you on both coverage units and any of the return units, or what's your sort of responsibilities?
Coach McMahon says it's a 4. I'm a 4 core guy, so I start on all 4 of all the kicking game. Really, the only special teams I'm not on is really field goal right now.
Right. Okay. Well, look, we're gonna have to watch out, Casey. Of course, excellent holder, but if we ever see 31 sneaking in there the hole, we know a fake might be on. We got to watch out for that.
Maybe we'll see.
Yeah. So that's cool. Who are some of the other guys who are on all 4, Darius?
I know Tahir Noor. He's another guy, another transfer, came in during the summer, and he's on. He's definitely on all 4. And then I think there might be a couple more guys. I know there's not a whole lot of guys that are at least starting on all 4, but Coach Fritz emphasized that he wants our guys to be playing on special teams. So it doesn't matter if you're a 1 on defense or 2, you're gonna be somewhere on the depth chart in the kicking game.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, look, it goes look no further than, last year, both defensive captains were guys that are playing on every special team unit as well. Nick and Dorian. I mean, it's always been an emphasis here at Tulane, and for good reason. I mean, games are won and lost there, and you always hear about offensive stats, defensive stats, et cetera, but the hidden yardage in the special teams game is often, in a game where turnovers are even, that type of thing, that's where the game's often won or lost is going to be the field position based on. There's a big difference between Casey, you touching back and down it inside the 10. And, Quan breaks a 16-yard return versus having a fair catch it or whatever because the blocker was there. I mean, you start driving a 44 versus the 28, it makes a big difference statistically in terms of whether you're going to score as an offense. So appreciate all you guys do, man. And look, you know, I had you here before, Casey. It's your first time, Darius, but with being a core 4 guy, I suspect I'll have you again. So, you know, we look forward to having y'all as players of the week again later in the season. Y'all gonna do that for me?
Oh yeah, I know Darius will be back.
All right, very good.
How's
Well,
it
guys,
going?
I appreciate y'all's time. And folks, that'll do it for this week's episode, Player of the Week episode of Jimmy O Show. Thanks for joining us remotely, digitally. I think everything worked well, and glad for that. Please be sure to check out our website, ftwcollective.com, to find out more about how you can be supportive of these student athletes. As you can see, they're well worth our support. It is our pleasure to be able to do that. Please also check out our charity Spotlight Partner of the Week, Bless 26 organization. Find out what Kendall and his crew is doing to help young men in the state of Louisiana, city of New Orleans. Until next time, folks, roll wave.
Thank you. Roll wave.